On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out who Gravik killed on this week's Secret Invasion, if My Adventures with Superman should have been the main event instead of Secret Invasion, and what the Taste Buds plan to do about the podcast if the strike lasts a long time. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show. Go music. What is up, nerds? And welcome to the Superhero Show, the only podcast that covers every live-action TV show based on a comic book. And I am your host, Ryan.
What?
Mike, it happened. I got the call to the show, call from the bullpen. Came down and coach handed me the ball, and he said, "You're going to go throw, big guy, chief champ."
Chief champ. That's what they call you.
And then smacked me on the butt hundreds of times.
A regular Joe Paterno.
Why does baseball do this?
Why does baseball do this to us? Why so many smack butts? See, when you said handed you the ball, I was not picturing a based ball.
What ball would he have handed me? His bowling ball? His left nut?
His left nut slapped you on the butt.
You ever hand somebody one of your nuts?
Hand him a nut and slap him on a butt. I love old folk songs.
Christ. Now, Mike, you did drink a jar of moonshine before we started recording tonight. Is that correct?
Well, show some lag behind the curtain. It is not a normal recording night. And what the listeners may not know about me, I am a prim and proper professional on show night. I wear a cummerbund and a bow tie and little else. But on not show night, I am chowing down on jars of moonshine.
Yeah, usually you have a cummerbund. Tonight you have a honey bun. One of those giant stale ones that come in the wrappers. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. And you will hear me crinkle all night long.
Professional Mike would open up his honey bun package before recording and then set it to the side to enjoy at his leisure.
And that would make professional Mike, that gives him that literal hunger. And that's why he's so good on a normal show night.
Now, we're recording this a little early because of Comic-Con, obviously.
Yes.
We have to go down there. Girls are already there, so...
They're camping out, and we said, guys, you don't need to do that. Get hotels like adults. But they're like, no, we're camping on the sidewalk.
I think that they didn't want to do the show on an off night and see unprofessional piece of shit Mike.
Yeah, they've heard Legend Has It. What are those called? Horror stories?
Uh-huh. Christ. What if this is like a Gilligan coconut situation? If you drink a second jar of moonshine, maybe you'll snap back to order?
Yeah.
Do you want to try that?
Should I go do that? Should I glug right in the mic?
Yeah, make sure to use your best Foley. We have an incredible show for you tonight, despite the girls not being here.
Glug, 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 glug.
Oh my God. You really drank that. We are going to talk about the penultimate episode of Secret Invasion. We're going to dive right back in with My Adventures with Superman, our new favorite show. But before that, Mike, let's do an on-air meeting, shall we?
My favorite kind.
Be back in a sec. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. We now begin the official on-air meeting of Mike and Ryan. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, did you just interrupt me? Order. Order to you.
Order to you.
No, order to you. No more interruptions.
Order prevails.
Order.
Fuck.
I did just start watching, by the way. If we have a on-air meeting, if we were to have this meeting off air, it'd be full of tangents and interruptions, right?
Yes.
So we can do that here?
I would love it.
Speaking of order in the court, sustained, overruled. Finally started watching Jury Duty now that nobody is talking about it anymore. James Marsden, man. National
He's so
treasure.
fucking funny.
He always has been, hasn't he?
Yes. He's always been great. I loved him, was mocked for loving him, then forgot about him for too long. I let the world bully me. But since Disturbing Behavior, I've been in love with those baby blues.
You're such a fucking hipster. You can do it about James Marsden.
Ryan, I'm such a hipster. I can do it. Give it to me. Give me anything I can out hipster you.
The Superhero Show.
Okay, I remember. I've been listening to the Superhero Show back since it was the Superhero Hour. You feel me?
That's impressive. I'm so glad that the world was like, James Marsden, we got to get him in a superhero movie. What's somebody who's like funny and, self-deprecating and makes fun of himself? Oh, Cyclops. Let's cast him as Cyclops. That's such perfect casting.
Well, then they gave him his second at-bat at a superhero movie. Who's he going to be? Oh, the guy who's railing Lois Lane who isn't Superman in Superman Returns.
Oh, let's give him a third shot. Who's he going to be? The guy who's railing Sonic in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Let's give him a fourth shot. He's the guy who's railing Peep in Peeps, the Easter CGI movie.
God, looking through that Peeps hole, staring at all of his marshmallow pets.
Sugary sweet.
So we're not actually sure if you and I are going to go to Comic-Con. Like we said, girls are already on their way, but we were mostly there just for movies and TV and cool stuff. And now it's just going to be about comic books. Mike, why is everybody not going to Comic-Con this year?
The economy? No, that's not right. The climate? No. Oh, because Union Strong, bitches. WGA has been joined by SAG.
Now this is
and AFTRA.
Oh, don't leave out the AFTRA.
AFTRA always comes after, but they're always there. That's what they say.
This is one of me and your biggest debates or disagreements, is that I support the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, and you are your hardcore studio fan.
Yeah, I'm the Zaslav for life is what it says on my abs.
Wow, that you got that tattooed.
And then underneath, I'm going to put Zaz-APTRA, which you have to follow so many dumb threads just inside my own brain to have that make sense at all.
Yeah, it says Union of One on your back, and then in parentheses, it says one means David Zaslav. I love David Zaslav. Mm-hmm. Great copy.
My knuckles, Bob Iger.
Dude, you're an Iger tiger.
Oh, that's good. New tat.
Stop tattooing.
Running out of skin.
Stop tattooing CEOs on your fucking body.
Okay. Oh, they know I love them.
First thing that we obviously have to make clear, in case you don't understand how the strike is going, CEO does stand for Captain EO. We always do like to explain that to everyone every time it comes up. Second of all, so in a lot of ways is unprecedented. The actors and the writers are on strike all at the same time. This has not happened since 1960, when who was the head? Which
means unprecedented.
But this feels like it's going to go for a lot longer than that. Do you remember who the head of SAG was in 1960?
Fran Drescher.
It was not. She's not that old. All these jokes about older women, Mike, really. I'll give you this hint. Every time there was a SAG meeting, the president would start by going, well,
Clint Eastwood.
It's Ronald Reagan, Mike.
Oh. They have similar voices.
I practiced that all day today.
That was great. Do you know what it missed is in the background, Nancy going,
the throat goat?
The throat goat.
Good for her. This is crazy. The things that are on the line for the actors and the writers are not all the same, but there are some pretty important ones. They like to eat. They want to work for a wage where they can live.
Live with roofs over their heads and walls.
Allegedly, a executive said, we're just going to wait until they can't pay their mortgage and they're thrown out of their houses. We want them to be homeless, and then they will come and settle. That's not... First of all, don't say that out loud to
Don't say that out loud to anybody.
A reporter, you fucking twat. But also, in order to be an actor or a writer, 90% of the actors and writers in Hollywood have day jobs because they don't make enough money to not have one. So they're not going to lose their house, you fucking piece of shit. Why are we talking about this today? Was it 2010, 2007?
07, 08.
When
was the last writer's strike. Yeah.
The last writer's strike. And if you look at shows... It
killed Hero Season 2.
Hero Season 2. A lot of shows that were on at that time, if you look at their like Netflix or the episodes for the season, 30 Rock was one. their season only has 8 instead of 22 episodes, and that's because
Right.
that's all that the writers could get out for that season. I think this one might last longer. I think that this is going to be crazy, and we could be staring down another barrel of no entertainment.
That is a drag because I need that new. How many? The only thing I really remember, other than the hashtag Hero Season 2, which I bet it was going to be bad anyway, even though I'm a Hero Season 2 defender, is Conan just sitting at his desk playing with his pencil.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to get something like that? That magic?
Conan had became very good at taking his wedding ring and spinning it on his desk and just having the cameramen shoot it like it was the Super Bowl.
I fucking love that guy.
Just like a little bit of update. The other thing that everyone is really worried about is there's the payment, the minimums that people make because they want to be able to eat, live, and have health insurance. That's the big one. Number 2, the way that all of entertainment works is completely different. Before, if you were a TV writer or a movie writer or actor, you would shoot your show or movie, and then you would get more money from DVD sales,
Ziggies,
and reruns. If your movie was on TNT or if TNT bought episodes of your show syndicated, then you would just have this constant stream of money coming in. And that is what made working for the lower wages okay.
I love that you said stream, Ryan. 'Cause one stream begat another.
I wish I could think of a different word, but my vocabulary is not big. So that's where we are. That's where we are right now. What the CEOs did was they said, we'll give you a little bit more money up front to be on a Netflix show, but it just wasn't enough. Netflix, all the streamers refused to release any data about who's watching it, so there's no way to charge them. Advertise plans, or like Netflix with ads is coming, but nobody thinks that the public is ever going to get those numbers for the ratings.
No, the CEO will continue to make even more money, and the stockholders.
And the stockholders, right. The other thing, too, that not a lot of people are talking about is that over the last 10, 15 years, all of the major entertainment studios have been bought up by these much larger corporations that are all about making sure that the quarterly is higher than the last quarterly.
Right.
And
because do you know what always works everywhere, especially in nature and economy, is exponential growth. Mm-hmm. Ryan, what is the only thing, to quote Agent Smith, what are the only 2 things that believe in in exponential growth?
Hand grenades and horseshoes?
It's right after horseshoes and hand grenades, a great bluegrass band. It is humans and cancer.
That's a great line, Agent Smith. You totally nailed it because, it's just impossible. What they're saying is that if we made $1 billion last quarter and made $1 billion this quarter, heads are going to roll because it must be 1.1 billion. I don't know how this fucking started, but it seems so short term to me. Like you're going to implode everything. The other thing that's happened is that besides the giant corporations coming in and buying studios, they were also bought by tech. And tech has this reputation of really loving the fact that they can call themselves disruptors. And we've seen over time that disruptors don't care about disrupting to make something better. They just want to disrupt it, period.
It's just different, man.
And then finally,
my name is Mark Zuckerberg, and this is the economy. Wow, 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 wow. That's the Jackass theme.
And then he just goes down a slide. I like how you have parentheses for your comments, just like your tattoos.
Look, I'm a man of too many words.
I didn't plan to go into the strike, but now I'm into it, so we're going to keep talking about what the last thing is.
Yeah, we've not talked about at all what we're actually going to do this segment, but I love it. Let's keep getting to it.
We have a light show tonight, Mike, because the girls aren't here and there's not a lot to talk about. So
and there's a strike. Sure.
And there's a strike. Let's just keep going. The third thing, which we talked about for the last couple of weeks when we talk about Secret Invasion, is that writers and now actors are very nervous about AI. And before the writer's strike, the CEOs said, we will not even come to the table to discuss a single thing about AI, which AI on its own isn't necessarily frightening. People turning into Cyberdyne and the villains from every sci-fi movie that we've ever seen allowing it to take over the world is the scary part.
It's so weird that all these CEOs saw Paul Reiser in Aliens and went, he's my hero.
Him. Paul Reiser is like all rise, which is another court term. So we can throw that on overruled or sustained if you wish.
Habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus, of course. The writers are scared that they are going to spend the rest of their lives cleaning up script doctoring scripts that AI writes. How does AI write a script? By scraping all other known scripts that will for people that will not be getting paid for this new script. Actors are afraid that AI will take every Tom Hanks movie, and now they don't have to scrape that, and they don't have to pay Tom Hanks anymore.
It's crazy that they would think that, because I've seen the Polar Express. And I think AI Tom Hanks is the wrong way to go.
Who's that guy with the podcast?
Ryan.
Okay, so before you list all of them, and I love how you're going to start with me and then you, the comedian who was kicked off of Band of Brothers?
Dead Eyes. Connor.
Oberst. No, that's Bright Eyes.
That is Bright Eyes. But
Different
we
eyes.
know the Connors love their eyes. The eyes have it.
Tom Hanks, you're going to tell this kid that he has dead eyes? Have you seen yourself in the Polar Express? You fuck. You're being a fuck.
You're being such a fuck, Tom.
One of the ideas that the CEOs had was that a day player or a background actor will be on set for one day. They will get $100, and the computers will scan them.
In perpetuity. Other legal term. But yeah, they get to own them for in perpetuity. And you would hope nobody would do that, but there are starving people out there. There are desperate people out there, and there are people who are like, no, but I'm sure this will still lead me to becoming the next Tom Hanks who gets to call a kid Dead Eyes.
Yeah, a lot of people right now are out there saying, it doesn't matter what kind of offer you get as a writer or actor, do not scab, because if you cross that picket line and work with them, that is it. That's your career. It also just kind of makes you a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, that scab there's never a positive version of scab.
Well, I mean, we talked about our Twitter feed says differently.
That's true, and that's why it's been deleted.
Okay. Goodbye, Twitter, by the way. We'll do another segment later saying goodbye to Twitter.
I think we did. I think we've done a couple.
We'll do another one. You can never have too many in memoriams. So, Mike,
tell that to Xtaz.
Are you nervous? And, let's be clear. We're with the writers and actors. And we want them to get everything they can. And our wants and needs in this little world don't amount to a hill of beans. But that being said, in perpetuity for the rest of this segment, habeas corpus, sustained. Are you a little bit nervous about our flow of entertainment that we love?
It does mean things will be drying up in the superhero show land, because I don't know if longtime listeners have gathered. We need this. We need that constant flow. Good or bad, it's what we do. And you know what, Ryan? I was nervous at first, and then I thought for a second and went, buddy boy, there's almost 100 years of television history. There's options here.
Okay, so I do believe that in the next, maybe the beginning of 24, let's just to put a number on it, January 24, it's possible there will be multiple weeks in a row where we don't have anything to cover. Mm-hmm. So luckily, we changed the title of this podcast to Superhero Show. It used to be the Superhero Hour, an hour about hours. We're no longer titularly contracted to do an hour-long show, but that's what we like to do. It's a nice round number, 60 minutes. How are we going to fill these shows? I told you to bring a list of 40 ideas, 39 of which I would throw away. What one do you think that I am not going to throw away?
All right, so you don't want me to joke out on this. You want me to just start with the top one. We are now the DC AO show. We go episode by episode through the DC animated universe. It is 30 years old at this point. There are so many movies, cartoons, spin-offs. We've done some of them with Young Justice. We start back at the beginning, and we go chronological. So we do B-Tez and S-Tez at the same time. If you don't like that, I can already see it in your eyes. It's the DCAU versus the Marvel cartoons. We have already done X-Men animated series. Do you know what else started the same time around the B-Tez and S-Tez? Spider-Man. Bitch.
All right. First of all, Tom Hanks, maybe don't insult my eyes and tell them that you can already see them and you hate them and you think that they're ugly. Let's start there.
I'm going to edit some of what I said out so people think you're crazy for saying that right now.
And now I'm on strike.
From podcasting?
All right, I'm going to scab. I think that that's a wonderful idea. I know that outside of BTAS and Tasmania, a show where this is true, look it up, the Tasmanian Devil was the star of the show and had a Bing Crosby sounding father.
Mm-hmm.
And
I watched it.
Incredible Sega Genesis game based off of it. I don't know that much about the DC. What did you call it? Ayo, AU.
DCAU.
And I really like that for branding. Just saying "Hey you" to an animated universe all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the Timverse?
The Timverse, the Tim Dini verse.
Tim Dini. That's a magician that made these.
Mm-hmm. The great Tim Dini.
The problem is that it seems like it would get boring watching quality television and commenting on it. So I came up with a better idea based on your idea. And that's the DC AU versus the Marvel animated shows.
Okay. That is a great idea.
Thank you. Why don't you let me finish explaining it and not interrupt me with compliments? We take a DVD box set of the Superman the Animated Series and a DVD box set of X-Men the Animated Series, put them in a ring, let them fight. We just throw them at each other.
And so we are now a video show, and it's mostly a half an hour fight of us whipping DVDs at each other in the Pop Filter Studios.
Love where your head's at. Unfortunately, we do not have that technology, so this will be audio only of us throwing DVDs at each other.
Because I was going to say, that means we are Conan playing with his pencil and spinning his ring around.
Of all the ways that Conan could have inspired us, I think this is the most fitting. I don't really know what you did with that whole comedy late night interview thing, Conan, but that ring tossing was great. That
is a good idea. But what if we each, instead of whipping the DVDs at each other, Ryan, we put...
Rough start. Don't like the start.
A DVD on each one of our fingers.
Okay, I'm back.
And then we try to eat, and we review the food eating process for different foods with DVDs on our fingers.
Now, here's the fucking problem, Mike. And if this was a professional night for you, instead of this amateur grab-ass happy hour that you're doing tonight, the food that we're obviously going to be reviewing 90% of the time are bugles. And so that's going to be DVDs on our fingers and bugles on our fingers at the same time.
Then it's like the little witches have hula hoops, and they're little space witches.
Man,
I love this.
I'm a thinker, but you're a thinking man's thinker. You know, like you solve problems.
The normal people don't get it, but the thinkers are like, man, you should have seen him back in his day. I know he's decrepit and lives in an alley now, but we all look up to him.
I know what you're doing because you're a normal person. You're like, oh, that guy's an idiot. But no. He's a thinking man's thinker.
You have to really hang out with a lot of thinkers to understand why this dribbling, drooling moron is the best of us.
All right. So just write down bugle DVDs and for the girls. And that's more than enough explanation.
They'll understand.
All right. I have an idea.
We'll see.
Can I throw something out there?
Please, as long as it's not a DVD at my head.
Oh, yeah, no, that'd be awful. True crime podcasts are all the rage.
Yes, they are.
Okay, I was hoping that I would just start that idea and then you would sort of build on it.
That's your idea.
Yes.
True crime Okay, no, I got this. I didn't realize how half-assed you were. True crime podcasts are all the rage. So what we will do...
Oh, I got it.
Good, because we're going back and forth here.
The show is called True Crime Podcasts Are All the Rage. Temporarily, we're going to switch the title. And what we're going to do on the show is we are going to recreate classic true crime podcasts, word for word, but in the style of if they were a Rage Against the Machine song.
Oh. Fuck you, I'm going to unibomb somebody.
Perfect.
I like this a lot. But I think, what if true crime podcasts are all the rage? So what we do is recreate the murders that those true crime podcasts got big covering.
Okay. Like Civil War reenactors, but not But like real murders? We're going to do real murders?
Yeah, so, but we're reenacting heroes' work, not fucking Southern losers.
Okay, much better idea than yours. What if we take a crime from one of our superhero shows, and instead of we retell the crime, like something from Arrow or some bullshit, in the style of a true crime podcast?
So season 1 is all about Prometheus from Arrow, and we act like, and look, but what we didn't know is that hacker Felicity knew something nobody knew.
Tonight, or this season, a case in 12 parts. What did Felicity know? Please join us on True Crime Shows Are All the Rage.
Chapter 1.
Yes?
I like it.
Okay.
So far, this is my favorite idea. I'm going to miss eating bugles off of DVDs off my fingers, but I'm actually going to do that no matter what show we do.
Okay, do you got anything else?
I do. So there is a show that ran for 10 seasons and is so powerful it took over and broke the brain of one of our co-hosts.
America's Funniest Home Videos?
It's America's Funniest Home Videos, and we are going to go episode by episode. We're doing the Saget years. We're doing the Brady years. We're doing the other guys.
Alfonso Ribeiro?
Alfonso Rivero. He got swole.
Yeah. I mean, he was always ripped. He had to, like, fight back against that claim that he was actually Carlton. Mike, you have been reviewing pop culture weekly. And I mean that Weekly.
I knew you did, buddy.
For literal decades.
Yes.
Movies, great movies, terrible movies, great TV shows, superhero TV shows. That's the opposite of great TV shows. What? How would you review each individual episode of America's Funniest Home Videos? Give me some tips. Give me some pointers.
Well, there's different levels, right? So you're going to do the video on its own first. How was this dog eating peanut butter and it looked like it was talking? That's great.
Each individual video?
Filmic, yes. But then at the next level, well, each video will get its own 10-minute segment.
Okay.
And then, how's Bob or Brady or Rivera? How are they all doing? Then we talk about their jokes, their voice work, their writing.
We could go back in time and be like, this is the episode that premiered on September 11th, 2001. How did that, show off the theme of the day?
I don't love how many pigeons were flying into Lego towers on that episode.
America's Funniest Home Videos tackles a lot of themes, but do you know what my favorite one is?
What?
America, this is you.
This is you. And just hold up a mirror to that stupid country.
Do you want to give your actual idea, or should I just go?
You could go. It was going to be Smallville, episode by episode Smallville every week.
Oh, man, I'm not really in the market of making Caitlin that happy. You know what we'll do? We'll wait till she leaves the show and then start it the next week.
Yes, but then we become her favorite show, and that's too much pressure.
A lot of podcasts are doing minute-by-minute watches.
Uh-huh.
But that's because they suck. Those podcasts suck and they're stupid.
No, Ryan, there's some of them are great. The Marvel Movie Minute, I was just on an episode last week. Everybody should go check it out.
Well, except for that one, I guess. But I think that 60 seconds is far too long to watch and review. Let's do some second podcasts.
And 1 hour podcast based on each second from...
the MCU.
Rockadoodle. Oh.
Okay. Wait, is that just your cute nickname for me?
Yeah, you're my little Rockadoodle.
That's 24 frames, Mike. 24 entire pictures that we get to look at and review every week.
And Ryan, a picture's worth 1,000 words, so that is 24,000 words every week.
Man, scripts must be long. No wonder why these writers want to get paid more.
Yeah, their hands are cramping up.
24,000 words per second. All right, what do you got?
How fast I type. Oh.
How about this?
Well.
The type bragger. And it's just Mike bragging about how fast he types every week.
I feel like that's sort of ripping off Greg Proop's podcast.
Oh, sorry, Proop.
Smartest Man in the World. That is not my cute nickname for you. That's the name of his podcast. This is, you know what would be fun if we turn the podcast into based on a real biff the girls made, where they kept saying, why aren't we doing Mandalorian? Idiots, it's not based on a comic. So every week we say, what do you guys think is based on a comic? And then we just review whatever they think.
Have you seen people or hear about people getting injured on this vegetable guillotine called a mandolin?
What?
People, they're like, there's this thing that like you can slice vegetables very quickly, but people are just
While
losing
playing dope twangy music?
for Captain Corelli. No, it's very dangerous. And so maybe on this Mandalorian show, we could have a game where I describe something, and then you have to tell me if it's the mandolin or the Mandalorian.
I love that.
Okay, so like I'll start. Looks like Boba Fett.
Mandalorian.
Correct. Good at chopping vegetables.
Is both an option?
No. Which one?
Mandalorian.
Best suits? It's the Mandalorian. Yeah, the mandolin sucks at chopping vegetables. It's great at chopping fingers. Mandalorian rules at chopping vegetables.
Well, he got it. You know, you're a new father. You know how when you're a little kid, you need to chop those vegetables, so you're gonna get good quick to feed that little kid vegetables.
I guess that's true.
Ryan, I would love to keep doing this with you.
Do we have to move on?
Producer Dave is in the window, just chopping his fingers off on mandolins and throwing the blood out the window.
Yeah, I got 10 more minutes, bro. Okay, let me give you one more.
Okay.
I am sort of sad that this is the second to last week. We're going to be able to talk about the absolutely incredible powerhouse, power-packing, power-punching show, Secret Invasion. So, why don't we do this? Every week, we rewatch all 6 episodes of Secret Invasion and talk about what new things we found.
And we call it the Secret Invasion Suicide Pact.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be dead in no time.
Do you know what your dumb idea made me think of?
What's that?
Do you know what we could do? Secret Invasion, the show, not a lot of people know this, is based on a pretty solid comic run called Secret Invasion.
Did that comic book? Hold on. No, this is going to be worth it. Did that comic that you're talking about introduce the villain of this show?
No.
Was it a comic book or was that in a graphic novel?
That was pretty good.
Come on, man.
You fumbled at the gate, but then you stuck the landing. It was a graphic novel. No, it was somebody else. No, the real villain of the comic is not in this show at all. Because you got to save her. Got to hold her back. We could go to the source material, Ryan. We've done the MCU. We do a 1-to-1 comparison for all of these.
That sounds great. The girls don't know how to read. Are you trying to pick something that disincludes
picture
them?
Books.
That doesn't matter.
Literally everything I said, try to disinclude them.
Okay, good. Let's peruse that. Let's browse on that. Let's think about that. Let's become a thinking man's thinker on that last idea about Secret Invasion. While we, real quick, take a break and then come back with more Secret Invasion. On the penultimate episode of Secret Invasion, everyone is getting ready for the big finale. And they're getting ready for the big finale, Mike, in similar fashion than they have been for all the other episodes so far, by doing nothing, waiting for anything to fucking happen. Fury flees to Finland with Sonya, while Gaia and Priscilla bury Talos. Gravik goes on a rampage killing Skrulls because he is called out for wanting to kill Skrulls. Tasty Mike, I ask you this. Did the reveal of how the Super Skrull machine was made give us enough to make this an episode? Not even a good episode, just an episode.
No, I was so confused because didn't we get a lot of this information? But no, there's these random people we've never met before, so this is important.
Well, the important part is that all of the Marvel heroes spilled blood.
Right, the Battle of Earth.
That's a term, like we all spilled blood for this country.
Right.
Fury literally means that their blood fell on the ground,
right.
And then a bunch of people ran around and picked it up, and then now that DNA is in the Skrull machine.
Are we... Well, only 4 of them are in the Skrull machine because they didn't get the harvest. They got like the 4 cast-offs, which is Cull Obsidian, Frambablagbla, Groot, and Extremis. Because that's the 4 that are in Gravik right now.
I've only seen Groot.
Extremis is the healing. The orange. That's the bad guys from Iron Man 3.
Okay. And then Cull Obsidian, the Thanos.
It's just he's a big beefy boy, so strength, I guess. And then they said another name that I was like, I'm a nerd, and I don't know what that fucking name is.
Okay. I missed all of that, but Harvest has the rest?
Yeah, and then are we led to believe that one of the numerous Fury graves that are around the world, it looked like a little vial of like eye drops size, and that is the blood of Did he swirl everybody's blood around? There's one single drop from every hero ever, and it's just hanging out in this little... It was so tiny.
I understand that these things are not meant to be scientifically accurate, but this is some leaps and bounds.
You know what's missing from the show? Some leaps and bounds. No, there's a lot of it, actually, in logic, in writing.
Okay, so let's get to the action. Fury's, I guess, ex-wife, because they both shot at each other's heads.
Yeah, that's the divorce. Common law Skrull divorce.
And Gaia are at Fury's house, and they're like, what are we going to do? Hopefully we don't get attacked. I think they literally say, like, hey, we should be careful because we're going to get attacked soon. And then a SWAT team runs in.
A faceless SWAT team, we assume of Skrulls, even though they're isolated, we don't see they're wearing generic SWAT team stuff. They suck. Priscilla and Gaia kill them all so quickly with their little backpacks.
And that's what I was going to bring up. I've never seen such a poorly directed action scene on one of these shows, which is saying a lot. The camera starts by putting on backpacks in such a way that it's basically John Woo directing somebody shooting pistols in opposite directions. And then from there, they do all these moves where, you fire this way, I'll fire that way, and then we'll flip sides. Classic gun battle move.
Right.
But it looks like it's like a TikToker filmed it.
And no cover, and they keep shooting these armored, people are repelling even though it's like a single-story house, and they just get taken out. They're all one-shot deaths, and Priscilla and Guy are totally fine. Ryan, the show isn't good.
Now, do you think... I was looking up... Ali Salim is the director, so he has actually made movies. Are we taking a turn here? Are we being too harsh on this show because it was so built up and it's such a letdown that now at this point everything it does is stupid as fuck?
There is that, because do you know what? Should we switch to positives or
Sure.
not yet? There is a show in here, and it's might because she's one of the greatest living actors alive. But Olivia Colman, every time she was on screen in this one, I was like, why isn't this the show? She wasn't hackneyed like Fury and Talos were back and forth. Her delivery, I've seen stuff like it before, but I liked her very like, I'm a polite Mary Poppins type, but I'll shoot you in the head. And I was like, I'd watch her spy show. This is way more entertaining than anything else we've seen from this.
See, I hear you, but I'm getting the same thing that I'm getting from Fury and Talos. She's obviously a very skilled actress, but the whole like, I remain incredibly polite while this crazy shit is going on. Like, I feel like we've seen that a million times, and it's not, the dialogue isn't crisp enough with this tired idea where Coleman can save it to me.
But I guess she's worth watching.
Watchable is your positive, yeah.
This show is making me think, is Samuel L. Jackson a good actor? I don't think he is anymore. And when was the last time? When did he lose it?
Well, in his defense, I will say that the Nick Fury character from the MCU was basically written in Samuel L. Jackson's persona, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's obviously stars versus actors, and, we just need Tom Cruise to come be Tom Cruise.
Right.
But this is even a step further to me. And I would say
the cartoon version?
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
I would also say that for almost all actors that are in anything like this, there's so little challenge to any of it that I think that it comes off as phoning it in often.
Yeah, I think the Capital One Samuel L. Jackson commercials have more depth and character than Nick Fury in this show.
And, like, I don't know, have more excitement from him.
Yes,
like,
he
seems more stoked to be there.
He seems tired and old, and also, like, going against so much of the Nick Fury we've come to know, it doesn't make sense what he's doing half the time. Why is everybody, not just Fury, but why is everybody just being like, you're my enemy and I could kill you, but I'm not going to kill you yet. I'm going to kill you when I want to kill you. Not yet, though. I can't kill you, but I'm going to kill you. That is, every episode we've gotten that conversation between somebody.
And see, what you're doing this is why I sort of think that we're just against the show.
Yes.
Which is deserved, so it's kind of weird. But you're also describing every Mission Impossible movie. You're describing every, James Bond movie.
But they have action that is cool.
That's true, but there's so many tropes like that of like, hey, you're a hero, but we're all randomly against you, and it's for unsaid reasons that are very convoluted. These are things that we just accept in all other spy or spycraft movies. This is just because it's not giving us anything else. Like you said, in Mission Impossible, we have Tom Cruise jumping off cliffs. There's other stuff to watch. This decided that no, we're just going to be slow and boring, and then all of these creaky tropes of spy movies are now shining. And
when it's not doing creaky tropes, it's doing stuff that, and maybe this is just tropes done so badly it doesn't look like tropes anymore. Gravik has been this like freedom fighter, right? And he believes in the Skrull freedom. I said freedom twice there. His second is just like, hey man, what's happening? What is the plan anymore? Because it feels like he's lost his thread. He kills him, and he tells the rest of the people in the room, I killed him because he thought he had a voice. He didn't. None of you do. You're voiceless. You're nameless. That is not inspiring.
No.
They better say like the powers got to his head or something, because this character, this bad guy, makes no fucking sense.
That mixed with like a lot of it might be that people go with Talos, or if you're like thinking about like, oh, I wish Talos was still alive so you could take command again. And from that outlook, it's like, well, if I can't build respect like he did, then I will just take it or not care about it. That is what turns a lot of piece of shits into abusive assholes, is this jealousy. Right. But as far as his plan goes, let's pretend like this is a scripted show with a story and characters. That you're right. It's not gelling.
And especially then, because at least only like the inner circle, who he just pushed out of the inner circle by killing a lot of and threatening them, telling them they don't matter. When other people who saw what happened try to kill him, he takes them all out and then goes to the compound where there's like innocent Skrulls and screams, "Who wants it?" like a fucking Raw era WWE wrestler.
Yeah, I thought that the show, or at least I thought Gravik started strong.
Yeah,
he was interesting. I would say 2 episodes. I think him pouring all of the salt or cream or whatever it was into his coffee,
that was your moment.
The sugar,
for sure.
But like that, that's kind of funny. At this point now, I don't know. It feels like 9 different writers have 9 different plans.
Were you so excited? And I like this actor. I don't want to shit on him, but were you so excited that Mason, Black Widow's pilot from the movie Black Widow, showed up in this?
I was so excited that I went right to my phone and to IMDb to try and figure out, why am I supposed to know this person?
And here again, my brain is broken. I went, why is Mason here? And the movie or the show acted like, oh, people are going to be pumped. I was like, guys, not it.
Was Disney Plus pimping this? Were they like all week? Were they like the return of Mason from Black Widow?
And what sucks is I think this actor is great. He's the husband in Handmaid's Tale. He can do so much. He's so good, and is just nothing to do.
Yeah, and he's got another. It's like a generic MCU role of, I say quirky things. I make funny jokes. Everything I do is like somewhere in between, like a drama and an action movie, and not believing that this story is either one. Mm-hmm. And we're right there with you, buddy. We're right there with you. We don't think it's either one either. What else do we want to go over? Oh, I've got something. We see Fury's gravestone, or one of them. And it says something about how he died for his friends.
Oh, yeah.
And why wouldn't it say, hell hath no fury? Because he's in heaven.
I don't know why it wouldn't say that.
Why wouldn't the gravesite say those words that I just thought of instead of the ones
Are you scabbing? Are you scabbing right now because you're writing?
Thinking is not writing.
Oh, thank God. I've been trying to not think the last 17
You're
weeks.
fine to do that.
It also is different than his first gravestone we've seen in the MCU. Had his quote from the fake biblical passage from Pulp Fiction. Mm-hmm. And this one was just like a quote from Charlotte's Web. Some pig.
It said, the first one said, now my girlfriend's a vegetarian, which pretty much makes me a vegetarian, but I do love a good burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic
Ryan,
quote.
Can you promise me to either put that or some pig on my tombstone?
I wonder which one I will
Dealer's
choose.
choice.
So Pagan is gone. Beto is gone. All of the Skrulls that we know the names of, right, are basically dead.
On the bad guy team, yeah.
Except for Guy and Gravik is really always... Oh, and let's talk about Don Cheadle.
Oh, yeah.
Don Cheadle tells Fury that the news is about to get some footage of him killing Maria Hill. And that's when Fury flees to Finland. How do we think Don Cheadle's doing here?
I think he is trying to inject some sort of life into this dead horse. I think he's really trying. He's like, I'll chew up all the scenery then. I'll have fun. I'll be like a bad guy. He can't save it. It just feels flailing and kind of sweaty. And I love Don. But what's done, and this is not his fault. I blame the writing, is him and Fury. And this was a version of what they did last week when they just have a shootout in the middle of the shootout and nobody even notices. The Gravik V, and this is when Talos dies, is Don Cheadle and Nick Fury are talking, and then Fury has a gun to Rhodey's head. And there's Secret Service there, and they're just talking about Skrull shit. Yeah. And Rhodey is openly and loudly talking about it, like, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then none of the Secret Service are like, wait, what? What the fuck did you just say?
I also love in that part where Cheadle has him, or Rhodey has him dead to rights, like Fury can't do shit. So Fury's going to put the gun away and run, but before he does, he just fucking hits Cheadle in the face with the gun. Well, I can still do this, you bitch.
I did like that. And then the Secret Service was like, all's fair.
Mike, we have more time, but I'm done talking about the show. We're going to wrap it up next week. Before we get to the rest of the shows that came out this week, I heard... What?
I have a moment of the week.
Oh, we do moments of the week in the main event now. I apologize.
It's only been a year. I understand.
Mine is how that gravestone did not say, hell hath no fury because he's in heaven now. Mike, what's your moment of the week?
It feels like a parody of every complaint of every MCU show where Daredevil doesn't get his costume till the last episode of the first season. For some reason, Fury, who we've now seen all show just out and about, goes to his grave and gets his eye patch. And that's how you know things are serious now. It's so fucking dumb. It feels like, are they punking us? Is this all a punk? Is this all a what, huh?
Do you think Ashton Kutcher is going to walk out in the last episode? Or no, into our living rooms when we're watching the last episode?
If he does, I will freak out harder than Timberlake did in his episode.
Dude, that guy was pissed.
That was crazy.
So you already stepped on my transition into the website. Yeah. So what's your website?
So what's your fucking website? Air.heads, Ryan. Only Air.heads tells you what scene of the movie Airheads pairs perfectly with what flavor of the late great Candy Airheads.
Candy Airheads. Thank you. What's her name from Schitt's Creek?
More. It's kind of like a Mr. Skin for one specific movie and candy.
Okay, so wait. First of all, the late great. There are no more Airheads.
I don't know. I'm an adult, so I don't really look for candy anymore.
Wow.
Especially candy that's like dried rubber tongue.
Yeah, it's not a good one unless it's mystery flavored, and then it's wonderful.
It's the shit.
That's where I learned how to gamble as a young boy. That's where my addiction started. I don't want the fucking blue raspberry. Give me the mystery. I'd live life on the edge.
It is so weird, though. Every time you're playing blackjack, you say, hit me, and then just lick the card that's going down.
Which tastes roughly like an Airhead. Now, I'm on the website right now, and it says for every minute of the movie, it just says, eat a mystery-flavored Airhead. Is that
well? Really that's because we're working on it.
Under construction.
It's under construction.
Okay. And that's Air.heads?
Air.heads.
And tell me one more thing about it.
The one thing I could tell you about it is that we are working on getting a spokesperson, and I can't spill the beans of who it is, but he is going to get the attention of all the fellow youths. To reference a different project of his.
Is it Mr. Skin?
It's Mr. Skin himself.
You're going to get him to be on your Air.heads website?
Yes, because do you know what kind of tastes like dried skin? Airheads.
Airheads. Who is the celebrity?
It's Steve Buscemi.
Oh, okay. You know who you should use? Who you should use to make this website?
Who?
Well, besides Steve Buscemi, because he's into this shit. He will help you out.
Yes.
Cybersprout.
I make so many websites, Ryan, and I almost always forget about Cybersprout. Tell me about them again.
They offer premium hosting that is specifically built for WordPress, which allows you to focus on your website while they handle the security, maintenance, backups, and speed optimization. They'll even migrate that shit for free.
Oh, good, because this is on GeoCities right now. I need to migrate it.
Yeah, you're going to definitely want to migrate that. Mike, please, everyone, all listeners, please go to cybersprout.net, your partner for the digital world. We're going to take one last break before we take other breaks in the future. But after this break, we're going to come back with the pull list. Now it's time for the pull list, where we review every other show that came out this week, starting with Walking Dead, The Dead City, also Penultimate, I believe.
This week on Walking Dead, Dead City, Penultimate episode, tensions between Maggie and Negan come to a head. Ginny's search continues, and questions arise around Armstrong's path forward. Tasty Ryan asks you this. What would an episode of TWDDC have to include to get you to watch it?
Maggie and Negan's tensions coming to giving head to each other. 69. They need to 69.
In their stinky post-apocalyptic New York never shower world.
Oh, the reekiest of taints.
The whole time.
God, that's sexy. Walking Dead is on Sundays, as it has been for the last 40 years, as it will be for the next 40 years. For fuck's fucking sake, AMC. Please. Next up,
release us.
Next up on the show is Riverdale. On this week's episode of Riverdale, Betty, Veronica, Cheryl, and Tony each enter the annual Miss Teen Riverdale pageant. When Alice doesn't allow Ethel to enter the pageant, the girls band together to make sure she has a fighting chance. Now, Mike, we had to record this before we got a chance to watch this Riverdale, so I will hopefully talk more about it next week. But let's just take a guess why Alice would not allow Ethel to compete in the pageant.
She's going to say she's not pageant ready, which we know is a euphemism. For Alice saying Ethel is not the kind of girl who joins pageants.
Because
she
she's...
won't allow it. Not like the other girls.
Good job. Riverdale is on Wednesdays on the CW, our final show of the evening. Thank God, Mike. Thank God for My Adventures with Superman.
On the third episode of My Adventures with Superman, Lois is hot to get Superman for an interview while she, Jimmy, and Clark get scooped by the Daily Planet Dream Team. Meanwhile, three chuds who call themselves Intergang have high-tech new weaponry and bumblefuck their way into freezing a whole dang bank. Tasty Ryan, I ask you this. How is Moz, as we're going to call it from now on, doing, balancing Freak of the Week, character development, and serialized storytelling?
What a weird, and I'm sure we talked about this a little bit last week, but what a weird, revolting development that as I got older, Superman would become one of my favorite characters that I'm actually excited to watch. And maybe you've always been like this, but I do think that it sort of happened to both me and Caitlin at similar times in very different ways. Maybe for the same reasons, but a great Superman story's ability to just have like what it reminds me of is like early Peter Parker of just like 75% is just life is hard, family's hard, here's this town, whether it's Smallville or Metropolis, and then we'll give you some laser eyes and frosty breath towards the end. And the show has it completely figured out exactly what I want. I don't know if it's what everybody else wants, but it is what I want.
I think so. There's a reason Spider-Man jumped up and everybody's tried to chase it. And it's so smart to be like, wait, let's take the oldest and one of the most recognizable superheroes and tell an early period story of his life with that stuff. And that's it. You're correct. Smallville did that shit. It is Clark, because no tights, no flights, no coconuts. So it is always Clark first. And this, even when he is Supermaning out, he's doesn't know his power, so he's freaking out, and he's constantly worried and messing with his voice as he's talking to Lois and Jimmy.
It's adorable.
A golden moment which is a new thing. This is different than Moment of the Week. A golden moment is when he runs away as Clark, it comes back and tells Jimmy and Lois to get to safety. It is stern, worried about their safety Clark voice that's coming out, not Superman voice. He's just like pissed that his two stupid friends are running towards the giant ice exploding bank.
And look, love them, but they are stupid. They are both fucking
dumb
stupid.
as hell. Yes.
I do want to. I have some pushback though about what you said about Smallville. Are you saying that if Lois said, "I made some hot chocolate," and gave it to Clark, he would say no?
Because
there's no
Cocoa Nights.
There's no Cocoa Nights. We don't
exactly. Well,
we don't drink
they
that
drink
shit
it during the day.
Okay, so nothing on a hot day, like
a hot summer day, like a big piping cup of hot cocoa.
What I didn't know that this show was capable of, because this is only episode 3, is when we're introduced to the news team, that we would go into this parody of, how action news teams always did their commercials when we were kids.
Right.
And then just to take it one step farther, the third person, who is like an actual reporter, the investigative reporter, says, "I'm not doing this." And Kat and Steve are like, "No, you."
Kat, who's like celebrity gossip, Perez Hilton, basically. Steve, who's sports. And both of these fully grown adults who make their salaries off the news are getting off on scooping teenagers.
But the investigative reporter refuses to do it, and then Kat's pissed. Like, what? We practiced this all day. Like, they actually worked on this gimmick bit satire thing. It's the best.
It's the best. And this feels so real, is like, investigative reporter goes along with it at a certain point. She does it in a very dry, not wanting to do it way. And then all of this gives us Lois Lane's impression of Cat Grant, which is pitch perfect and amazing.
Yeah, I looked up to see if they were the same voice artist. Oh, another thing about the show, not to shit on actors because they're out of work now, but some of the voices sounded familiar.
But get a real job.
Yeah. Why don't you
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Go to college and get a degree, you fucking lazy ass. I went to IMDb because some of the voices sounded familiar. And with the exception of Dennis Quaid's child, Jack, these are all not famous people. Like, they're
legit voice actors?
Now, maybe that was to save money, but what it seems like is they said, let's get the person who does the role the best instead of who sell the most tickets.
I like that for them.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mike, Shushy season is starting. Luckily, this got in under the radar. This is just going to sweep everything, I have a feeling.
Oh, man. I'm glad, because I can only remember trash that we've watched, so...
Do you have a moment of the week?
I do. We also meet Intergang, which is in the comics or every other adaptation. When they show up, they are a nefarious multinational. They're Intergang. It's the opposite of Interpol. They're a gang of gangs that controls the world of crime. Intergang here is 3 bumblefucks.
Whiny douchebag children.
Whiny, shitty, and then Roughhouse, because we learn his name. He keeps calling the other guy Kyle on camera, and Kyle gets so upset they're not using code names. And that's the kind of joke I've seen before, but it's so charming and done well and repeated perfectly through this.
Yeah. I like, and bad guys are hard with Superman because he, as all hacky morons say, his story sucks because he has all of the powers. That's not really what Superman stories are about. But creating a Superman villain can be hard. How do you make something that actually threatens him? But I think so often, what the people who are pissed because Superman has all the powers don't understand is that Clark is going to win. It's not Superman and his powers that are going to win. It's that Clark and his morals and ethics are going to beat the bad guy. And so to put him up against some of the Intergang in this episode are very powerful. The Silver Banshee can whoop his ass if she was a trained supervillain, but they're not. And so Clark's do-goodery will save the day.
That is a hack complaint of Superman. It's the put the people he loves in danger.
Right.
Man, people I fucking hate. How to be media illiterate jerks.
My moment of the week is I just didn't see that coming with the whole news team satire.
Yes.
So I'm going with that. That's it, Mike. That's the whole show.
That's the whole shebang.
I'm gonna actually ask you,
Kit and Caboodle.
Caitlin Caboodle. I'm gonna actually ask you to stay on stage tonight.
Oh, okay.
I would rather hear your voice tell me about some of the other podcasts that Pop Filter has.
My real voice?
Yeah, your real voice.
All right, Ryan. We joke, don't we, folks?
And here to tell us about other websites is a birthday candle.
All right, Ryan. You can go to popfilter.co is where everything we make lives. Throw a little /Amazon on there. That's how you shop now. Bookmark it, use it, live it, laugh it, love it. Christmas in July is still going on. Popphoto.co/Amazon. You're a purveyor of Christmas in July.
Okay, awesome job. I asked you to tell us about some of the shows that we do. And
I thought you said websites.
And then you said, wait, what did you ask for? And I said, please tell us about the other shows. And we have knocked out websites, Mike. So,
muscle memory, man. It does not matter what you have to say.
I did it out of order, so that's on me. I'm going to ask you for a third fucking time. You toddler. Can you tell us about other podcasts?
At Your Pop Filter on Instagram and at Pop Filter on Blueski.
Did you forget Twitter?
No, Twitter's dead. Long live Twitter.
Twitter's dead, but
I don't get the long live.
Yeah, well, we don't have time to explain it, but Twitter's dead, long live Blueski would be more appropriate. It's like
that makes more sense.
The king is dead.
Yeah.
Long live the king. Because as soon as the king dies, the new king.
King Jr.
King Jr. Burger King Jr.
We're mostly on Instagram. I think we've only bloofed once on Blueski.
Any threads, any Mastodon that we need to know about?
Mastodon, we never learned how to figure out. Threads, where the board is debating whether we're going to figure out what Threads is.
Isn't there... I mean, are we in a war right now?
Yeah, I think really the board is saying, which one of these fucking things do I actually have to learn how to use?
And isn't there some wolf-like product where we can just blast them out to everything?
That might be what Threads is threatening they're going to become. Because it is owned by Facebook.
Yeah.
And what they do is steal from everybody, so...
Owned by Facebook, do you mean Meta?
No, I'm sorry. It is owned by Meta. And we're all very excited to use the metaverse, which is definitely still happening.
Can I just speak for every human when I say we're all excited to use the metaverse?
We're all so excited to be floating torsos that look like cheaper graphics than The Sims.
Because the other day I was at my office job and I wanted some water, so I walked to the water cooler, and there by the water cooler were thousands of people talking about how excited they were to be in the metaverse.
I can't wait to do this in the metaverse.
Will you rename your life Spider Mike into the metaverse?
Yes, I will rename my life.
What's your current life title?
My wife. My current life title is Mike Gravano. How does he do it?
Oh, man. How does he do it all? Mike, thank you for telling us about the social media. Will you, for the love of all that is fuck, tell us about the other shows from Pop Filter?
Contact at popfilter.co is how you can email us. And you know what, Ryan?
What?
I'll do it for you. Next week, we are talking about the season finale of Secret Invasion. Did I do it all?
Please listen to Movie of the Year. We just started the 1973 season. It's very exciting.
It starts this week,
Starts this week.
This very week.
As of right now, you might already know who the winner of 2002 is.
They Catch Me If You Can just came out because it was lost in the vault for a while, then got unlost.
I don't think Catch Me If You Can won.
Boy, do I have a story to tell you off air.
Oh. Do you want to tease it now and then tell me off air?
I'll tease it now, and everybody else can just wonder what the Catch Me If You Can tidbit would be.
That's it. So, yeah, as Mike so rudely said when he was not talking about Movie of the Year, the Secret Invasion finale is next week, the return of Harley Quinn, and the start of Shushy season. Let's do this. Hopefully the girls will be back. For Mike, my name is Ryan, and as always, keep watching those movies and TV shows based on comic books. Bye, y'all.
Sad. Sorry, I didn't know you had a bye, y'all. Locked and loaded.
And cut.